them in 4th place in the Eastern Conference. And I also want to mention this, guys. Under Tom Thibodeau, obviously his first season there, they have this, look at Stephen A's face, they have the 2nd-ranked defense in the NBA. Last year, they were 23rd, so quite the jump, and kudos to Tibbs. All right, Max, what do you think? Are the Knicks back?
Are the Knicks back? No, the Knicks being back would mean
Max.
they stink, as always. The Knicks, when you think Knicks, you think stinking team. That's been the majority of their history at this point, certainly of their recent history. This is something new. I'm not going to sit here and deny the truth. They're a young, exciting team. The culture seems healthy. It looks like Dolan finally got out of the way. I thought they had a must-win game, actually, against Sacramento when they hosted Sacramento because they're 2 games under 500. You got to win that kind of game if you want to make the playoffs. They've done nothing but win since then. Stephen A. quickly has been a revelation. I think the Derrick Rose move was really good. You don't just want a lot of young guys like Julius Randle is shooting from distance now. That's the big change in his game. I don't think you want to make the mistake of just a lot of young guys. You need to bring in the right kind of veteran who's been through it all, who's willing to mentor and work hard. That's what Derrick Rose is. My hat's off to this young team. They're a game over 500. They're 4th place in the conference. But to say, are the Knicks back? No, this is something new. Are the Knicks back? It means, oh, look, there goes the Knicks, the laughing stock of the league. This is new.
Hey, man, you can turn it any way you want to. Back, forward, slide, and moonwalk. I don't give a damn. As long as you recognize the fact that there's something happening in Madison Square Garden. There's something happening in New York City, Max Kellerman. I mean, hey, listen, man, let me tell you something. You got Julius Randle. He's averaging 23 and 11, shooting nearly 42% from three-point range, okay? I'm pleased. I'm very, very pleased, and he's worthy of being an all-star. I'm just getting a little bit emotional right now. I want to take a moment of time to give my brother Worldwide West, William Wesley, props. The one and only Leon Rose, the president of basketball operations.
Deserve it.
Props. My man Scott Perry, the GM. Props. And, of course, Tom Thibodeau. And, by the way, slight correction, Mollywood. Slight correction. You know, the New York Knicks are number 2 defensively in terms of defensive efficiency, but they are number 1 defensively in terms of points allowed at 104 points per game. I'm loving what I'm seeing right now. You got Quickly, you got Rose, you got Rose up in there, you got Randall. Oh, by the way, Mitchell Robinson's been hurt, Taj Gibson has been hurt, because you know how a guy like Tom Thibodeau wants somebody on the interior. He wants a big boy there, block shots, grab rebounds, that kind of stuff going on. So I'm looking at a bunch of Rough Riders. I've been hearing the New York Knicks in my ear telling me about culture change, and that's what we're seeing. We're seeing hard work. We're seeing a never die attitude. We're seeing Rough Riders. They ain't soft. They're coming at it. They're battling, folks. I'm going to tell you right now, Max, do you know what impediment that I see to the New York Knicks' potential success? Are you sitting down for this? The impediment to their success is also the primary reason they've been successful thus far. That's Tom Thibodeau, my buddy Tom Thibodeau. Why do I say that? Why do I see that? Here's the deal. No, not at all. But here's what I'm saying. You got Julius Randle. He played like 41 minutes against Indiana. What the hell you got him playing 38 minutes last night for? Why is he in the game when they're running away against the hapless Detroit Pistons? Why would you do that? This is what Thibodeau has done in the past, because he's about tomorrow, today and tomorrow, not looking ahead. This is the problem that he had in Chicago. I want him to learn from that.
Yeah, you're saying he's going to burn him out. You're afraid of that. Yeah, he's very intense.
Hold on.
Stephen,
you got to take your foot off the gas just a little bit. I know they're young. I know they got their fresh legs, but don't run him into the ground like that. He's got to be careful. Nerlens Noel, I know he doesn't play much, but damn, you got him 41 minutes, all of that other stuff, back-to-back night stuff like that. He's got to be careful.
But he plays.
But other than that, Max, they're only 4 games back of the Brooklyn Nets. Hey, Max, I was watching the numbers the other day. Do you know that if the playoffs began, that it would have been the Knicks against the Nets? But that's when the Knicks were the 7th seed. See, they number 4 now.
Here's the thing. Wait, hold on. Here's the thing.
5th seed, and they host a playoff series.
I got three things to say about this.
I love it.
Number one, what's crazy to me is nationally, the Nets are the story. People outside New York don't care about the Knicks. They care about the Nets. We lead the show with the Nets, never the Knicks. But inside New York, in terms of locally, the Knicks still got it. People get more excited, which brings me to my second point. Stephen A., throughout this pandemic, there's been a lot missed. You know, the enemy is the perfect of the good. We're just happy to have sports. If you can't have crowds, you can't have crowds. And I'm not saying, oh, they should. I'm just saying, could you imagine Madison Square Garden at capacity for this young team? It really is a shame that they don't really get that right now, because Madison Square Garden, when they have a team they can get behind, when New York does, because of effort especially, and intensity, when you know these young guys are working hard and laying it all out there, New York respects that in a different way. It is a shame that that's not happening in front of a raucous, rocking Madison Square Garden.
Negativity, relax.
Well, and thirdly, I have to say,
the crowd will be there come playoff time. They'll be there.
I have to say, I watched the Knicks game, the whole thing from beginning to end. You know how long it's been since I watched the whole thing? I could sit through the whole thing. I couldn't believe it, but I did. They are a fun team to watch.
They are going at it. They're competing. And listen, when you defend, you have a chance. When you defend, you have a chance. And the one thing they do is defend. And once Mitchell Robinson comes back, watch even more. I'm telling you. I'm telling you right now.
You know when KD and James Harden and Kyrie are all playing? You're not talking about no Knicks.
Listen, let me ask you this question. If the New York Knicks get out of the first round, if they win a first-round series, because if the players started today, they'd play Miami, who's on their own streak. You see how I turned the Miami Heat around? See how I turned them around? I called them out. They've been undefeated ever since. See what I did for the Miami Heat?
That's true. It may be correlation, not causation.
But the Knicks will play the Miami Heat in the first round. Could you imagine if the New York Knicks ended up in the second round and they had to go up against the Brooklyn Nets? The Brooklyn Nets will have all the pressure. The Knicks will be playing with house money. They'd have nothing to lose.
Hey, real quick, Molly, let me say this. You know why the Knicks, and I was laughing at you guys thinking they were going to get KD? Because players don't go to bad cultures. The reason the Nets got those guys is the culture was good. This Knicks team, if they keep doing this, the message they're going to send to potential free agents is it's a good place to play. And then New York sells itself. This could be the first time ever.
That's Steph Curry. That's where I want to go now. So last night, LeBron and the Lakers put the smackdown on the Warriors in LA with Clay watching courtside, a 26-point win. Steph, talk to me.
We have to remember that even when we're playing well, we won 3 in a row. You know, teams still want to beat us and beat us bad. They still have, a lot of memories from the last 5-6 years.
Stephen A., you think the Warriors are just going to make the league pay when Clay returns?
Without question. Without question. Let me tell you something right now. Once Klay Thompson returns, we're assuming health. We're not debating health. There's nothing to debate about that. If they're not healthy, there's no go. But if Klay Thompson and Steph Curry on the court together and healthy, Warriors going to conference finals, at the very least. Warriors going to win 50 games, at the very least. The Warriors will unquestionably, we talk about the Utah Jazz being the best shooting team in the NBA. That wouldn't be the case if Klay and Steph were on the court. I promise you that much. That wouldn't happen then. You can book it. Let me tell you something right now. And by the way, this kid Wiseman, who's just a rookie, the number 2 overall pick, Jaja Pajulia and Andrew Bogut, he is not. He can actually play. I mean, not to say that they couldn't play at all, but they ain't no James Wiseman. This kid's got a tremendous upside. When I look at the team as presently constructed, if you told me that Klay Thompson comes back, but you still have a Kelly Oubre, and you still have an Andrew Wiggins, and you got a James Wiseman, and you got Pascal, and you got, Draymond Green and these boys, with Steph and Klay healthy? Oh, please. You're going to the conference finals. Easily. And I'm telling you that right now. They understand everybody's going to come at them. When Steph is balling, it's a different game. When he's struggling a little bit, as he has over the last 7 or 8 meetings against the Los Angeles Lakers, where they've held him under 20 points, that's a different ball game. But when Klay and Steph are on the court together, this is the greatest shooting backcourt in NBA history. And Steph Curry is the greatest shooter since man was created. That's who he is. And Klay ain't that damn far behind, okay? I'm telling you right now. Klay and Steph get back together healthy, you're at the very least, conference finals.
They're not making the league pay when Klay gets back. That's different, Stephen A. Let's not you're starting to move the goalposts about what the league pay means. Like, are they going to win 50 games? Are they going to be a tough out? For sure. Might they, if they add the right pieces, win another championship eventually? Sure. But what the Warriors were, what Steph is talking about that stretch where people want payback, they were stomping the league, starting with that 73-win team, because even the year before when they won the title, Cleveland was going to beat them in the finals if Kyrie and Kevin Love were healthy for LeBron. I mean, they went 6 games without them. But that season, too, they were better than everyone else in the Western Conference. And then the following year, they smoked everybody else. And then they added Kevin Durant. And those days ain't coming back. I mean, if they're able to swing a move for a guy like a Durant-level player, or not that many who ever existed, right, to add to this team, okay, fine, those days can come back. But if we're just talking about the roster, more or less as is, and Clay healthy and Steph healthy, like Draymond Green is not what he once was quite. I mean, even just shooting, Stephen A., and this predates any issues with KD or Clay in terms of injuries. Draymond Green was like shooting 33, 34% from three. Remember that one year he shot 38, 39%? He shot under 31% from three since then. He does not shoot from the outside. The idea that you can play 5 out with Draymond, not really, not the way it once looked like they were going to be able to. So this is a different team, and this coincides, right? No Iguodala in his prime, was a great player and a big game player. So things have really changed. Obviously, no KD. Even if Clay comes back, he's coming back to a Western Conference that ain't your big brother's Western Conference. The Lakers are a powerhouse with AD. All these other teams have come up in the world. If there's no OKC like there once was, don't forget OKC took them 7 games when the Warriors had won 73 that year. Took them 7 games to Oracle in the Western Conference Finals. But look at all these teams. Denver's coming up. You mentioned Utah's coming up. The Clippers, it is a new day for the Clippers. The Lakers are the defending champs. They're never going to do to the Western Conference what they used to do. They're not making people pay like that anymore. It is a new time, Stephen A.
Well, you could say that. We don't know that definitively because, again, we'll see when Klay Thompson gets back. That's number one. Number two, the league has adjusted. What did the Utah Jazz did? After losing in the first round in Denver last year, they went out and they got some shooters. And they improved as shooters as well. Yeah, you got defense on the interior as well as on the perimeter with Gobert and Royce O'Neal. But in the end, you got guys shooting lights out, and the pickup of Bogdanovich was a big-time pickup. We recognize that. So you got people trying to emulate what the Golden State Warriors used to do. Even LeBron James